We are live at 3 Martini lunch powered by Rockstar Connect. Just to tell you a little bit about myself real quickly, I'm the moderator. That means I just get to speak first, and I probably get to speak the most. But everyone here has a lot more to contribute than me. We're going to be here for 2 hours. We're going to have dozens of panelists. At the same time the panelists are speaking, I happen to not be a big fan of speakers. I like to have them on in the background and get the valuable information, but not necessarily constantly be listening, although these are brilliant people. They're going to share some great information. We have a chat room going on for all our other live participants that are participating in the event. I want you to feel free to drop your information in the chat. Sarah Elliot, my better half, and the Director of Operations for Rockstar Connect will be managing that chat room, answering your questions. All of our panelists will be dropping their information in there. We're also going to give you information about the Hi-O Lounge. And that's what makes this event a lot cooler than most online networking events, because you can actually go into the Hi-O Lounge. The link will be in the chat room, and you're going to be able to one-on-one network with individuals that are participating in this event. You can do a video chat. You can create a profile, and share your Facebook information and your LinkedIn information and so much other stuff, but also, keep listening to the panelists as well. We have a lot of great panelists here today. A lot of them are Rockstar Connect hosts from around the country and also experts in their field. And we found that a great format to start with is the Success is Contagious format, which we use in all our evening events that we have Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday nights that are available for you to go to locally or nationally. And in Success is Contagious, what we do when we do this at our live physical morning events, the individual comes up, every one of these panelists, and for you panelists that haven't done this before, so you'll be aware, you're going to say real quickly what you do. And people, they don't care so much about what you do. They care about you, right? They want to know about your successes because your success is contagious. So you're real briefly going to tell us what you do and then jump right into what is your success for the week. And that success could be how you helped a client. It can be business related. In addition to that, it could be family oriented, or it could be you just showed up today at this event to share your wisdom with other people all around the country. Now, I don't want to make you panelists nervous. I know you're looking and you're saying, oh, well, maybe there's 100 people watching me. We're broadcasting this live and rebroadcasting it to Rockstar Connect's 250 community pages around the country. So actually thousands of people are watching you right now. Are you nervous, guys? Are you okay? No, they're not nervous. I'm looking around to see who looks nervous. Scott looks a little nervous. Just a little bit. Okay, so let's get started. We're going to go sort of round robin. I'd like to introduce Brian McNeill. I had an opportunity to meet Brian through his social media. He's a great social media marketer. He's an expert in sales. Just tell us real briefly what you do, but go right into the success that you had this week. And you started briefly to tell me about your success earlier in the week, and I said save it for 3 Martini lunch. So go right ahead.
All right. My name is Brian McNeill. My company is called Very Personal Sales Coaching and the Selling Your Services Academy. And what I do is I help people to sell themselves and their services better than they ever have before so they can earn more money than ever before. My success for this week is yesterday I did 2 online workshops that both rocked, one at 2 and one at 9. It was about the power of speed in selling.
The power of Steve, so it was about me.
No, speed. S-P-E-E.
That's my type of workshop. Yeah, that's fantastic. Keeping things moving. Like they'll ask, why do we call this 3 Martini lunch? And I think back, one of the big inspirations in my life, one of the mentors in my life was my grandfather, who passed in 1979, Maury Raymond. And he was one of the great schmoozers and networkers of all time. People loved him. When he passed, there were thousands of people at his funeral, and every one of them said, I was Maury's best friend. And he came from sort of that Mad Men. You watch the show Mad Men? Anybody? that Mad Men era, and a lot of business was done at lunch, and they would have an actual 3 martini lunch. I do want to assure you that although everyone is welcome to have an alcoholic drink, it is highly unlikely that any of our panelists are going to have 3 martinis, because they are really all lightweights, and they would pass out sick as dogs. So it's only metaphorically that we're saying 3 martini lunch, to talk back to, easier times when we were able to spend a 2-hour, 3-hour lunch with people that would become our friends that we did business with. Yeah, getting creative, and Sarah said getting creative, getting those creative juices going. Usually, actually, Sarah and I do have a little cocktail during this, but when we walked the dog today, we had Bailey's in our coffee, so we didn't want to overdo it. So I'm just having water in my glass. So cheers to all of you. You can say cheers with your water if you're a panelist. I'm going to jump over to Scott Rutter, the networker with the most. If you can unmute yourself and share a little bit about yourself real briefly, and what was your success this week?
Yeah, absolutely. So Scott Rutter with Goosehead Insurance, largest independent insurance agency in the U.S., specializing in home, auto, and life. And my big win, besides getting ready to leave for Hilton Head in about 50 minutes, is that I have 3 beautiful children, 2 boys and a girl. And just to, in case this provides value to people watching, I have a troubled relationship with my son that's 12 years old. We're like oil and vinegar. We clash all the time. So one thing that I started this week, or weekend, I should say, is we spend 45 minutes of just one-on-one time. So whether it's throwing the football, throwing the baseball, going on a walk, because I think he was meant to be an only child like I am. So that's been going really well. I think it's strengthened our relationship. So I'd say that's my big win for the week.
You've had a lot of successes with him, and Scott and I, when we meet, we frequently talk about our children and how we interact with them and make them important. Although we spend a lot of time, working, helping others that are not related to us, and we have to remember, to keep an eye out for our children, because they're first and foremost who we have a responsibility to. And if any of you do want to add, any panelists want to add anything about your children, feel free, because this is a friendly show. We want everyone here not, eventually to be friends with one another, even though they just met. So Mike Manning, I just recently met you. I've heard very good things about you. You have a great voice. This is a gentleman who does a podcast. Share a little bit about yourself and what successes you can point to this week.
Well, thank you, sir. My name is Mike Manning. I'm a business coach with Wired to Change. My partner and I work with small business owners, trying to help them better understand their sales and marketing systems, and actually what a sales funnel is and why they need one. Our success the other day, we're getting close to picking up a client off a Facebook post. She put out there that, hey, I'm looking to meet some business coaches, and we had 5 or 6 people respond with our name. So that was very encouraging. And the biggest success I'm going to have here, if all goes well, Friday night, be able to see my grandson for the first time in about 2 months. And I welcome the opportunity for my wife and my son and my daughter-in-law to yell at me, because I won't give him back to anybody. So looking forward to that.
That's terrific. This weekend, we had a social distancing Mother's Day brunch at our house, where we actually took the car out of the carport, set up tables, and the older folk in the family were on one end, Sarah's grandmother and my parents, and we had a really full-fledged meal, and I love to entertain. I think it was probably one of the most meaningful Mother's Day celebrations that we have ever had. And, I've been around a long time, so that says a lot. I'm going to mix it up a little bit, so we're not just going in a straight line. I'm going to jump down to Noah Ronen. Sorry, Noah. And we know each other extremely well. I just had a little bit of a stutter there. Noah, please tell us about yourself and about your success this week.
Okay, so I encourage business leaders and social leaders to never settle on the norm, so they can create the change they care about. And I use the word encourage because, like what Scott says, it starts with just being real and bringing yourself into your leadership. So, daring to bring the story about your child with the messiness in it, that's kind of like the work I do, to let go of the things we avoid addressing. I work with executive and business leaders And my win, I think, is my post on Mother's Day. I brought that, my accent is from Israel. I brought that in my last visit to Israel, and it says, I am not yelling, this is how I talk. So that's to all the parents, I'm not yelling, this is how I talk. Another win this week was to speak to a group of lawyers in Florida. I pivot really fast because I'm a speaker, an author, and a coach, so I pivot fast because right now we can't do conferences. So virtual reality it is right now. So yeah, it was awesome.
That's what we're doing. And just a few quick things that come to mind. There's something I read today in Al Monitor, which is a newspaper that I read every day. It's one of the best newspapers on the Middle East. It has, you want to know about any country in the Middle East, Israel, or you want to know about Turkey, it's all in there. And they had a great article about a success that's going on in Israel right now, where the Arab and Jewish population are really interacting extremely well with one another during this emergency, because 20% of the medical people in Israel happen to be Arab.
That's true.
And the large amounts of the people that became ill in Israel were the ultra-Orthodox Jews that usually stay very to themselves. They don't run across Arabs too frequently. And now those groups are interacting with one another. And that looks like a real success, a terrific success. Thank you very much, Noah. Let's go over to Rhonda Sher.
Hey, Stephen. So nice to be here. So I'm a LinkedIn expert, and what I do is I help people get out of what I like to call LinkedIn witness protection, where you're a best kept secret. So I show you how to show up on LinkedIn in a way that you can book 2 to 10 appointments a week with your ideal clients, be the influencer, and add potentially an additional $5,000 to $50,000 every month to your business using LinkedIn. And I love it. You know, I have 25,000 connections, and it's just a blast. On a personal note, I have an interesting story about Mother's Day. I married my husband twice. So I was married for 28 years. We got divorced for 6, and then we remarried each other 4 years. So I jokingly say I have a husband, a husband, didn't have to change my name, and the kids are ours, right? So it's either 4 years in February or 40 in October with 6 off for good behavior. And we had a very cool Zoom Mother's Day because our kids were not in favor of us getting back together. You know, they learned they couldn't double dip, and, you know, mom was the one that said no and dad said yes. So it's all really come full circle, and it's so cool that we had this awesome Mother's Day. And now my kids actually reach out to me and say, Mom, you know this person on LinkedIn, can you introduce me? Because it would help me in my business. So I actually am useful now. It's amazing. So I'm really happy to be here.
Yes, that's fantastic. Thank you for being with us. And also condolences to your family and to your husband. I know that your brother-in-law recently passed from COVID-19.
Thank you. Yeah, I literally, you know, if I could give you one piece of advice, it's take this seriously. He was 71 years old, 4 weeks from diagnosis, really not any pre-existing conditions, left a wife of 48 years, 4 kids and 7 grandkids. And, you know, it's just, it's one of those things where you really learn that you don't have any wealth without your health. So just, you know, don't take it for granted.
And don't take it for granted anyone around you, your friends, your family, your extended family. I mean, today with social media and our tremendous outreach, we have friends and family all over the world. I mean, it's so true. Don't take them for granted. Check to see how they're doing, and you know, share with them what's going on in your life as well. And social media, post these triumphs, these successes that you have. If you are one of the participants today and you're listening, please drop what you do and your success into the chat. We keep a transcript of this and we share all this information. So we want to make sure that everyone is getting the full ability to enjoy this event. Let's jump in with my friend, Mr. John Doorn.
Thank you, Stephen. David, by the way, kudos to you. It's the second time I've got to hang out with you guys, and I just love the influence that you have across the country. So John Doorn, realtor of 27 years, don't like saying that sometimes, Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm the managing partner of a little brokerage here. We've got about 30 agents. and then I do some business coaching. Proud dad of 3 wonderful kids, older adults. So we made it through the car accidents and the 16-year-olds and all of that. Success. I was asked to raise money for the Leukemia Foundation this year. And as you can well imagine, foundations have been hurt, right? It's been hard and kind of frozen, and ask money when people are having a hard time, making their mortgage payments. So, so last week I decided, what, I'm not going to let that stop, and I'm going to start asking. And we had some really great contributions. So I'm really super grateful for those that that donated for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And then honestly, my phone call with you, Stephen and Sarah, was inspirational. So I'm part of a networking group here, Grand Rapids Networking, and I needed a kick in the butt, and you gave that to me.
Well, thank you. That was a great call, and it was a great success. And it sort of spurred us moving forward too, because as the country opens up, Rockstar Connect will be doing safe live events with our hosts where they're able to do it. And our hosts are very excited to continue. And I know some of the panelists are going to become hosts as well. But John has been doing an event regularly with us for 2 years. Rhonda's been doing an event with us for 3 years. Scott's been doing an event for a year, and Dominic's been doing an event for a year. We're going to have more people in the second hour that are Rockstar Connect hosts joining in. Now, Rockstar Connect hosts, they have a special responsibility to be leaders in their community and to provide an environment where local people can grow their business, and the host can take a leadership role to help direct small business in their community. If you want to know any more about Rockstar Connect, you can go to our website. It's pretty easy. It's rockstarconnect.com. I'm going to jump over. I mentioned your name, Dominic. Let's go over to you, Dominic.
Hey, thanks, Stephen. I appreciate it. So my name is Dominic Battistella. I am with New York Life Insurance Company. I'm also the host of the RTP Business Networking Rockstar Connect event here in the Raleigh-Durham area. And I've started to describe myself now as a commercial financial plumber. So essentially what my job is to make sure that the money stops leaking out of your business. And I do that with business continuity services, insurances, employee benefits, and business exit strategy planning. And I would say I've had a number of different successes this week. I mean, a family success would be that I have a blended family. So myself and my wife, we both have our children coming from previous marriages. And it's the first year we got to spend Mother's Day together as a family, all 5 of us. So that was a huge success. I would also like to add a business success. I was able to help a client who was in a difficult position as far as her investments go, and be able to position herself into something with significant safety, but with the growth potential and the liquidity that she wanted. So I consider that an amazing success in this market.
That's a great success. And something that's interesting that we've been finding out, I've been speaking to a lot of the panelists on Rockstar Connect, and many of our panelists have now been able to, just by being panelists and sharing their information so freely and generously with the people that are listening to the 3 Martini lunch, they've actually been able to close business from the event. I know that Dominic has been able to do this. Rhonda has done this. Scott, and I imagine a few more of you. I can't wait for you to have more successes like that. Let me jump over to Diego, Diego, who's also here in the Triangle where I live, and let's hear a little bit about you and your successes this week.
I appreciate it, Stephen. Thank you so much. It's always a pleasure to be here, and great to see so many familiar faces. So I am Diego Munoz. I run a commercial real estate team that works all over North Carolina, and we help people buy, sell, lease, invest, and develop in commercial real estate. Big successes. I've had some good business successes this week. But I'd say the thing I'm most proud of is a food drive that our office is doing, that we've been able to collect a lot of food that we'll be delivering on Thursday. Still looking to collect more. I'm proud to say that I've collected more than my weight at this point, which for some of you who know me probably isn't saying much. Mike Manning, I see you laughing. But it's a big deal right now with everything that's going on, that we help the food banks out, and I'm just grateful to be a part of that.
That's fantastic. And for the people that are watching, you know, our hosts are sharing their successes. They are influencers that in their community. They have great things to say, but also they're saying, hey, steal from me. So if you feel that there's a hunger need in your community, and there is in every community in the United States, hey, you can reach out to Diego. He'll tell you how he is doing this this hunger campaign and how you can duplicate it. Sometimes it's a little easier to move forward if someone can give you some advice. I know I'm volunteering you, Diego, but I know the type of gentleman you are, and you're not going to mind. Let's go over to Katia.
Hello.
If you could join the program, tell us a little bit about yourself and share your successes.
Sure. So I help service-based entrepreneurs to grow to six-figure while living the life they love. One of the strategies that I help them with is how do we use public speaking as a way to generate leads and therefore clients. One of the successes that I've had is I had a live daily show with experts, and today we hit our 72 episode, and that's a big deal. So I was very grateful. I also woke up early this morning, and I actually officially finished my book. So that was a big deal.
Congratulations. That is an enormous success. Now, we have not met in person. You know, it's funny because, like, I know Rhonda extremely well. We've never met in person. We've known each other for years now, but we communicate very frequently. We just met. I haven't, met you in person, but I've been following your social media, and what we've discovered about one another is we both enjoy cooking.
Oh, I know.
And I think a lot of people right now, they're finding that's a great way to engage with their audiences on social media, because meals bring us together.
That's right.
And I think sharing pictures and recipes, it really makes us feel connected to one another in a very big way. And, you can see how similar we are to other people. And, I love your backyard. I've seen your backyard. These are all things you need to be doing in your social media. Like, people say to me, how are you able to leverage such a large network and sphere of influence in your community? And I say, it's because the social media that I share with people is what I enjoy, and it also resonates with other people that are like me. And I want to do business with people that are similar to me. It just makes it that much more enjoyable, and it makes the outcomes that much more successful. So thank you for everything that you're sharing on social media. I want to jump over to someone who I absolutely don't know. He was recommended to the panel today by Scott Rutter. He is. Are you from Miami, Florida, Benjamin? Or where are you living?
I'm from Boston. I lived in Fuquay Arena for 9 years, but I now live in Miami.
Okay, that's where I'm from. I was born in Miami, so I'm one of the few natives from Miami. Tell us what you do there in Miami, travel, vacation, and what your success has been this week.
Absolutely, yeah. So I'm 26 years old. I'm a single dad to a beautiful 6-year-old little girl. I'm a college dropout, and I'm a serial entrepreneur. Right now, I work as an operations officer for Juju Rentals. We're a vacation rental company down here in Miami. We own and manage 26 properties down here in the Miami area. A lot of luxury, big mansion type homes on acres of land, a couple penthouses, normal, condos as well. I'm also been involved in the network marketing space part-time for 7 years. And my success this week is Business from Home magazine reached out to me, and they want to put me in a published article, which was pretty cool.
That's fantastic. I guess, travel is going to be opening up soon, and people are going to want to start venturing out from their comfortable little hobbit holes. I read an article yesterday. Actually, Sarah pointed out to me, Carnival Cruise is now booking cruises for $28 a day. $28 a day. I'm seriously thinking I'm going to figure out how far out you can book it. I don't know if I want to go tomorrow, but I certainly want to go soon. How many of you, raising your hands, how many of you would go travel right now on a cruise for $28 a day? I definitely put up there. Rhonda, no. Definitely not Rhonda. Definitely not Noah. And I know why, because they're not big eaters. They have very specific diets. Cruise ship is not appealing to them. They wouldn't go in the best of times, so we can't count that. If you in the audience would think about going on a cruise in the next 6 months to a year for $28, drop it right in there. Hey, so thank you very much, Benjamin. Great speaking with you. Barbara, what is your success? Who are you, and what is your success this week?
Well, first of all, I want to thank Scott for inviting me because I'm not familiar with this network. I'm the founder of Productive Environment Institute. I've been an entrepreneur for 43 years. I launched it with a statement, clutter is postponed decisions. And if you've seen Marie Kondo, that's what I've been doing for the last 40 years. My biggest success, I can't separate work from personal life. It just overlaps, and it has forever, which I guess is why I'm still doing it and have no interest in retiring. And this week, I got an email from a woman who struggled with organizing, has been reading my stuff for a long time, but not really implementing it. And she decided this week to implement it. And I said, well, it sounded like all you just needed was a system, that it wasn't emotion that was a problem. And then there was a silence on the phone, and she said, I was actually in the hospital because I tried to kill myself. And then I read your story about your experience with depression and suicide and decided to do what you told me. And now she's doing well. So it doesn't get any better than that.
No, I don't think you could have a better success than that. Thank you all for sharing about yourself and your success. If you're an attendee, feel free to put in what your success has been this week or any questions for any of our panelists. This is a networking event. Barbara is not familiar with the Rockstar Connect network, but let me tell you just a little, before we go to the next step of Success is Contagious, a little bit about Rockstar Connect. Rockstar Connect was founded in 2016. We have had tens of thousands of networking events all over the country with hundreds of thousands of attendees. These events are absolutely free to the attendees. The hosts of our events that are specially selected, they are offsetting the cost of those events in order to grow great communities around the United States. We are going to be launching very soon our live networking events again, in addition to doing a lot of virtual and other cool programs that we've had the opportunity to develop during this small break. Now, that's what it's like for entrepreneurs. We know how to pivot. We have to do it all the time. Frankly, it's assessing the needs of our clients and people out in the population, and then satisfying those needs. And when we satisfy those needs, guess what? We take care of all of their wants. So the economy is opening up. It's not going to be exactly the same as it was before, but it's going to be pretty close to it with a little bit of changes. And the people that are going to help us do that pivot to be successful are entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs, every large company that you see now is started by someone just like here on the panel. And I'm talking about LinkedIn, and I'm talking about Jeff Bezos with Amazon, who started his company from a garage. I'm speaking of almost any company that you can see out there were started by people just like us. And entrepreneurs are going to lead us to a recovery, whatever that recovery looks like. Who amongst our panelists consider themselves an entrepreneur? Raise your hand. I pretty much know this. Barbara, is your hand up? I can't see your hand. Noah, is your hand up? Okay, so we're going to the second part of Success is Contagious. The topic this week is, as an entrepreneur, please share with us just a small part of what your plan is to help the rest of the people in your sphere of influence, your network, and of course, then the greater local community, which will then impact the entire world. I want you to share that. Every week I just put people on the spot, and the first person always sort of has to suffer a little bit. I'm going to give you just a second to think about it, And if you're ready, put up your hand, and I'll call you first. How do I know Brian would get his hand up first? Okay, Brian, as an entrepreneur, knowing what you've learned over the last 2 months of outside imposed time to meditate and speculate on what you're going to be doing the next perhaps 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades of your life, please share that with the audience.
Thank you again for this opportunity. Now, I'm a sales coach, and I do a lot of corporate events, which my work required me to go a lot. I had to go to their workshops, go to their offices, and conduct sales workshops. I did a lot of stuff online, but the blessing of this imposed lockdown it's caused me to pivot. And I've done a whole lot more just online teaching, online workshops. I had a Selling Your Services Academy, which is an online school where I could make my sales training, very high level sales training and sales coaching, affordable for anyone. Because when the company books me, it's going to be thousands of bucks. When someone tries to hire me one-on-one, it's going to be thousands of dollars still. But when I made it affordable. My Selling Your Services Academy, I do it on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. and at 9 p.m. where for $6 a month, they can get weekly sales training. And that helps entrepreneurs a lot. And I have really, really boosted that up a lot during this imposed lockdown. The other thing that's caused me to do this lockdown, I'm an avid cigar smoker. I smoke at least one a day, okay? At least one a day a cigar. I even schedule it. My cigar time on my schedule is 3 p.m. every day.
Is that like your meditation, time?
Yes. One a day. And at 3 p.m., if I don't make it by 3, I'll do it by 4. But my wife has been encouraging me for over a year since you smoke a cigar every day. Why don't you figure out a way to make money with it? So she started putting cameras in front of me, and I've been doing tutorials on how to smoke a cigar, how to choose a cigar, and all that kind of stuff. And that was fun because it was creating a different market for me. But then I actually even opened up an e-commerce site called mycigartime.com, mycigartime.com, where I put cigar accessories and things that make you not offensive, things that make your breath smell good, your clothes smell good. And I was able to expand mycigartime.com to include my books, my 3 books and all of that kind of stuff. Shouts out to Katia for finishing writing her book, because doors will be open to her that were never open before. So I have 3 books written there, and they do open doors for you. And but my site, mycigar.com, has been a boon for me. Now, making $200-400 a week from something I'm going to do anyway is exciting to me. So this pivoting,
that's excellent.
Caused me to change.
Yeah, so you made it some worthwhile time, and I think that's great for our audience. If any of you in the audience, and I know most of you are solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, you run your own company, share some of your pivots in there. We want to know about them. Let's go over to, I'm going to go to Benjamin, since you went pretty much near the end last time. Benjamin, what are you doing as an entrepreneur to pivot, to help the people around you? What can people emulate that you're doing?
So currently right now, one of the big things I'm trying to do for my network, and actually I am doing for my network, is I'm introducing a lot of people to the world of cryptocurrency. I'm a firm believer in that, what crypto did over the last 10 years, it's going to 10x that, maybe even 100x that over the next 10 years. I'm one of those people who believes one Bitcoin will be worth $100,000 one day. And that's because I've done a lot of research on the blockchain technology and behind it. We have an office space in the blockchain center of Miami, and I've gotten to work with individuals who have been involved in the cryptocurrency world since 2010, 2009, and seeing and understanding the technology behind it and how it's growing. I'm very passionate about getting people integrated into cryptocurrency and getting on an exchange, getting a wallet, and understanding the power behind it. Bitcoin is becoming more and more easy to access. You can now purchase it on Robinhood, Cash App. There's a lot of different places where it's becoming commercialized. And one of my goals is to help commercialize cryptocurrency for my network. I have a couple different platforms that I'm doing that through. But I definitely believe that it's just the beginning for cryptocurrency. And I want to really help my friends get their piece of the pie and really understand what it's all about.
Hey, well, thank you. That's good information. If you want to learn more about what Benjamin is doing, drop your information in the chat. Let's go over to my good friend, John Doorn. Pivot for us.
I love, is it Zig Ziglar's that said, help people get what they want and you'll get what you need. And in this time, I've teamed up with quite a few loan officers across and some insurance agents and done some speaking seminars where I speak on mindset and habits. And I do that for free. It gives equity to the loan officers, social equity to the insurance agents, things like that. And then out of that, of course, I build some relationships with people that want to be in a relationship with me. I think it's a lot like Rockstar. In fact, like it's helping people connect. My people that come to Grand Rapids Rockstar, who do I know that you need to know? Who do you know that I need to know? It's connecting. So I try to live my life and helping others get what they want. And during this time, I've just done a lot of seminars for people.
That's fantastic. And, these are things that you should be doing if you're in the audience and, I'm telling you what to do. But these are things that are going to be helpful to you. I'm on the phone every day speaking to people in my network, growing my network. And that's what's going to assist me this is what I usually like to say. My mother, and I don't know if you guys' mother said the same thing, that new friends are silver, old friends are gold. And I think a lot of people in networking, where they fail in networking, is they forget the people that brought them where they were, and they don't reward those people by helping them continue to grow their network. So yes, you are meeting all these new people all the time, and they're silver, and they're going to improve your business and your clout and your influence. But don't forget those gold people. You need to introduce those silver people to your gold, and then you're going to turn your gold network into platinum. So you're always helping your network move up the line and be more successful. That you do that, and you're going to continue to be successful in your communities as an entrepreneur and grow. Rhonda is really digging that. So I'm going to go over to Rhonda. What's your thoughts on that? Also, as an entrepreneur, what are you doing right now to help your network?
So I completely agree with that. And I grew up with that as well, with silver, gold, and platinum. One of the things that I did, and I think it's partially because of what's going on, is I have a very, a decent sized list. I had a list of about 15,000 people because I've been speaking for many, many years. And like most of us, I didn't really nurture my list. And so I wrote an email. I cleaned out my list. I actually worked with a company called Viral Marketing that I used to work with. And I cleaned out my list. So I went from 14,000 down to about 8. And, taking out the duplicates and the ones that weren't real. And then I just sent an email out to my list that said, I want to reconnect and let you know that I'm going to be putting out 2 videos a month, educational videos, so you will learn how you can use LinkedIn to add an additional potentially $1,000 to $100,000 a year to your business, or even more. And I had no idea what was going to happen. It was not a fancy email. Well, I was shocked. I had a 42% open rate, but beyond the open rate, I had at least a half a dozen people reach out and ask me if I would do a webinar for their audiences on a Zoom platform. And that really made me pivot in a way where I was doing them live all the time. And now what I'm doing is I'm going to those people that have the audience, and I'm saying, look, I'd love to give some value, and sharing some of the ways that without spending a dime, that they can keep their appointments, their calendar filled with appointments. And it all started with just re-engaging with my list. So now I have a clean list of about 8,000 people with 40% or 42% that are engaged, that I'm going to send out a video twice a month that's only educational. And hopefully, what that will do is cause them to, come to me as a resource and say, where can I get XYZ? And I can introduce them to Rockstar, or if they want to know about blockchain, the cryptocurrency, I say, oh my gosh, I know somebody, there's this Benjamin, all of these people that I can now, as a result of this, expose them to, right? And that's what's so cool is I just want to position myself as a resource, which I love, which is what Rockstar does. It makes you a rock star. It's like the coolest thing ever. So that's what I've been doing. I cleaned up my list and I'm just doing webinars. You know, my kids always used to say, my mom doesn't have a job, she just talks. So there you go.
Well, I definitely need my LinkedIn cleaned up a little bit. So
you are on my list and I will make sure that you look like this. You will look like the rock star that you are. We'll clean it up and make it more virtual.
Thank you. So we have a very large list at Rockstar Connect of, you know, close to 90,000 people on our list. And we send out, I think it's 1.5 million emails per month. And every one of those emails is a value add because we're bringing an event to people. We're also bringing information about our Rockstar Connect hosts and what they're doing in their community. And because of that, we have a very high open rate. We have a 56% open rate, and we get very few unsubscribes. So if we send out to 1.5 million, we get 100 unsubscribes, which is minuscule. It doesn't need, because we're getting more people signing than are unsubscribing. Because of that, you know, we concentrated on local. I mean, my first event was a local event, and I've been doing it for 10 years, and they grew into something that's national. What I'm saying is if you treat your list right and you provide something of value in that list, whether it be an event like a Rockstar Connect event, or whether it's about your BNI, and you know, I know Mike Manning is involved in BNI, or a service that you provide, you know, you can give away all your secrets for free. The reason why you can give away all your secrets for free is people need to know what the secrets are and then determine, hey, you got all the information, why reinvent the wheel? So that's something that's very important. And you know, coaches tell this to their clients all the time. You have secret things, share your secrets, give it all away. Katia, I know you have something to comment on this, and also tell us what you're doing as an entrepreneur to help the economy reopen.
Yes, yes. No, I love what you just said about the secret. You know, there's no matter how much I can give it all for free. The fact that people will need someone to help them implement. And that's basically, you know, that's basically one of the things. They need someone to help them. About 8 weeks ago, I was the keynote speaker in Rome, in Italy. And so I got to experience actually what was happening there before it happened here. So I kind of knew when I came back how bad it was going to be. And I had to pivot very fast. So what I did is, because I am a speaker and I use speaking as a way to generate leads, I decided to use Facebook Live as a platform. And instead of being the person who went to events, I actually invited other people on my new platform. And about, I would say, every 3 days, I actually ask on Facebook, not on my business page, on my personal page, what are people needed? Because one of the things that I've seen in lives is if we don't have a good call to action, and if we don't cater to the pain point of really what's happening right now, what's relevant that week, then it doesn't get us anywhere. So every 3 to 4 days, I would change, you know, my call to action, really pertinent to what was happening and what people needed. So there's a week where they wanted to find, you know, gigs, and how can I help them to, you know, get them on a virtual stage. So we did that. But then the week after, they really needed leads. So I changed my call to action to, this week, I'm going to help you to find 30 leads in 30 days. And I think being able to pivot a little bit, if you really have the foundation of your business correct, if you have them really laid down really good, then it's very easy to pivot to a certain degree without rechanging the entire business model, if that makes any sense.
100%. I mean, in the case of Rockstar Connect, there are many things that we do for our hosts and for our events that are things that we've just become really good at. Like, we can put butts in seats. So people are having virtual events now, and we're soon going to be interviewed by some major business magazine, because we do have one of the largest online networking events. With this particular event, people are having a hard time getting, you know, 5 or 6 people to watch an event, and we're getting thousands of people. People are coming to us now and saying, hey, can you post our webinar for us? Can you teach us how to promote it? Can you help us create the copy? And we're it's very easy for us to pivot for that. We even know what to charge for it. We know how long it takes us to do it. So what I'm saying to the panelists and to you in the audience, look at what you are already doing to deliver services that you have, that you just regularly do. Is that something you can now charge for because it's necessary in this new economy? You know, Scott Rutter is the director of business development for Rockstar Connect. He's also a partner of mine. We do a lot of business together. He connects people all the time. He's connected me to many of the people that are in this room and now watching this event live. He is doing things to pivot in his business to create more business for himself, but also for those people in his network. Scott, could you extrapolate on that a little bit more? Elaborate, rather?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I love the gold, silver, platinum analogy. I think it's so important for us to always give credit where credit is due. And, you know, I was very blessed with my father and my grandfather and a lot of, you know, great past leaders that I work for to, you know, continue to pay it forward. So they've definitely inspired me on many levels. And also, Rhonda, to your point earlier, you know, again, my network, what I found, you know, before I even needed to network was that I had a large list, but, you know, went through to kind of deselect people. And also, what's the point of being connected with somebody on LinkedIn if you really don't know how you can add value to them, right? I mean, you definitely, but it takes courage, right? Because it's almost embarrassing in a way. And I'm sure they share that guilt too, because we're mutually connected, but yet they really don't know me and I really don't know them. So I started to make some dials and everything else. But, you know, I call it awkward to awesome, you know, is basically how you have to be in that. But Stephen, to your point, how we've kind of pivoted is, you know, my business partner, I and Goosehead Insurance, we like to always put spotlight on our referral partners as well as other local, you know, community leaders and business people. And we do this thing which is called Gaggle with the Geese, you know, because it goes with the company name of Goosehead Insurance. And we just ask 4 questions, you know, which really kind of, you know, showcase their personality. Because again, at the end of the day, it's about doing business with people you like, know, and trust, right? So they want to know more about you because a million people do insurance, right? So anyway, that's a lot of what we've done. And I think the people that watch that, you know, really enjoyed that.
That's fantastic. And it brings me over to just something that I've been working on is not only thinking of my business associates and the people on LinkedIn. First of all, on LinkedIn, I do want to throw out a LinkedIn tip. A lot of people avoid people that are trying to sell them leads and sell them services, and they avoid them. I embrace those people because I am a salesperson, and I know the best potential for people to promote me and to potentially buy my service are other salespeople because they get it. And I don't mind occasionally getting on a phone call with them and hearing their script and hearing their coaching trainings. That's something that, you know, I would suggest be a little more open-minded with who you allow yourself to connect with in LinkedIn. But going back to Facebook, which many people consider just, you know, a social platform, it isn't. It's a business platform dressed in social. But you have a lot of people in your Facebook that you've connected with that if you start looking at what they're posting, it doesn't align to your philosophy of life, it may be a good time to remove those people. But also, if you see some old friends in there that you haven't connected with, literally, in my case, I have some friends that maybe I haven't seen them in 40, 50 years, take an opportunity to reach out to those people and see what they're doing. What are they doing? Are they business people themselves? Do they have a company? Can you connect them to people in your network that they can do business with? I'll tell you, it's very powerful. And I made some, you know, reignited some great connections that have helped me emotionally, but also in my business. Has anyone else experienced that on the panel? Have you done that yet? I suggest that you do it. It's going to be a great experience for you. Just don't let them like sort of stalk you on Facebook. Start a conversation with them. You were good friends with them before. you can easily be good friends with them again, and you can also help one another's business. I'm going to jump over to Diego. Diego, commercial real estate. You have a better idea of what's going to be happening in that field than anyone else on this panel. It's very important to all of us business people in so many ways. What are you doing as an entrepreneur in commercial real estate to help your sphere of influence?
I appreciate you asking that question, Stephen. You know, shortly after the stay-at-home orders were put in place, I started asking the question, how are we going to reopen? Not when, because when was going to be an eventuality, whether it was 2 days or 2 years, we were going to open at some point. But what was clear was how we were going to open was going to be entirely different than how we've ever operated. And so I started digging deep into a variety of resources that spoke to that. SBA, AMA, and a variety of other associations that lead their various professions on how people need to reopen their business. I'm sure around the country we see a lot of different, I won't call them parades, resistance marches, whatever you want to call them, about getting things open. But I think anyone who thinks about it for a moment recognizes that it has to be different going forward. Not just for the health and safety of the consumers and the clients and the people who come into our shops, but our staff, our employees. If we truly want to be able to grow business, we've got to do it safely, we got to do it smart. And that has been a big part of my message for the last 2 months, helping businesses understand, my clients, when it comes time to reopen, how are you going to change your paradigm so that you can grow your business, keep the bottom line in a smart place, and help your customers recognize that you are valuing their health above all.
And that's great. And how to act from knowledge instead of fear. Mm-hmm. Just be aware. I mean, right now in real estate, there are so many opportunities. Problem is sometimes the financing lags behind the opportunity. So many people now are going on social media and they're putting out, many of your friends, people that you trust are putting out opportunities. If you have the cash to do it, or you're able to connect them to people that can, take advantage of this situation, the situation and the opportunity, make those connections. And this is a good time where you can make revenue beyond anything you ever thought possible. If you're an entrepreneur and you're smart and you're not afraid, you're willing to take some risk. I'm going to jump over to Mike. It's been a while since you were one of the first people to talk. Mike, what are you doing?
I am learning that old dogs can learn new tricks, Stephen. At the end of the month, I'm going to be 59, and I'm learning a lot of this technology because I've been at home for a couple of months, and I realized I should have learned it a couple of years ago. So I'm kind of coming kicking and screaming into some of this, but what I'm learning is it's a lot easier than I thought, and there's a ton of free stuff on the internet. Video editing software, audio editing software, ways to learn. Rhonda was talking about mailing list. I've been digging deep into that for the last week and a half. My partner and I trying to put that together, but just trying to get our clients to understand that you got to keep learning. I think this is going to be a bigger shift than most of us thought when it's all said and done in 2021, 22, 2022, whenever it's going to be. And to understand your business, the pivots you've had to make that a lot of people have talked about, a lot of those could be permanent, and they should be in some of your worlds because you're smart enough to take advantage of it and listen to what our clients' needs are. For as long as I've been working in the corporate world and own a business, I've always hated the phrase, we've always done it that way. That bothered me the first time I heard it, and it still bothers me today because everything is changing here. So if you understand your clients' needs, you're going to be a lot better off. You can help them. But just I've learned and tell people, be ready, be prepared, be flexible, because we don't know what it's going to be like. If we used to be driving down a 5-lane highway and we just stayed in our lane and we were fine, things are changing. You ought to nose around to the other 4 lanes, see what's going on, and see what you can learn.
Gosh, I mean, so much of, that was really good stuff, Mike. I can come up with 20 different topics off of what you've discussed there. One, first of all, let's talk about technology. if you want to increase your revenue right off the bat, there's a lot of free technology out there. Some of the technology you're using, which might have been cutting edge when you started your business, you may need to reevaluate whether it's worth paying, several $1,000s for that technology. Someone else might be doing it better for a lot less or for free. Now might be the time to update your laptop and some of your other equipment so you can move a little bit faster in the virtual world. But another thing that you're talking about is, and if I'm wrong and I'm misrepresenting you, Mike, so be it. I'm in charge, so you really can't say anything about it. But basically, we can't know about everything that's going to happen. If you are concerned about what's going to happen in the entire economy, you're going to be in paralysis. You know what you're good at, and you know what you do that other people will pay for. Right now, everyone that's here, all of our participants, all of our panelists are saying, this is what I know how to do. I've honed my craft and I've gotten better at it. It only takes me a little time to do what I do because I prepared for decades for this moment. There's no reason why any of us should be victims of the pandemic and the shutdown. That's you being shut down emotionally. It's not you actually taking the opportunity and the bull by the horns and being successful. Now, I'm going to jump over to Dominic, and then Barbara, I'm going to come over to you. I didn't forget you, Barbara.
That's okay.
Dominic, taking into what I've just said, what Mike said, and what Mike said, I got to tell you, Mike, it was fantastic. As an entrepreneur, and yeah, I know you work for New York Life, it's a big corporation, what have you. How are you going to leverage this to come out even better in the next few months or years?
Well, there's a number of different ways that you can do that. One is that you need to make sure that you continue to reach out and talk to people, because there are a lot of people that are shut in right now that are dying to have conversations with folks. And if you're one of the only ones or one of the few to reach out to them, they're going to remember that when things open up. But I will say another way to pivot is be willing to, as you said before, give away the information that you have. It's not a secret. And if you give people the information that you have about what's making you successful in this time, they're going to want to help you in return. It's a psychological reciprocity thing. And one of the things that I've been doing recently is hosting webinars for agents around the country in my company and teaching them my strategies for LinkedIn. And how I'm acquiring clients using that social network. And because of that, I'm actually doing a lot of joint business with these agents and picking up additional revenue, helping their clients and the people they reach out to, because I was willing to take the time to teach them how to reach out on LinkedIn themselves. And one more thing I do want to say about being a connector and being an effective networker. Don't just refer people that you know to other people. If you're willing to give somebody a reference, you need to be willing to do business with that person too. For example, I've been giving a lot of business over to Scott Rudder and telling people that they need to use his services. Well, you know what? I picked up the phone this week and I called Scott Rudder and I switched my auto and homeowners insurance over to Scott. So put your money where your mouth is. Don't just make a recommendation. Use the people you recommend and do business with them, and that's going to come back to you in spades.
An excellent point, 100%. Now, you can't always do that, though. You may know, like with me, I know hundreds of financial advisors. I know hundreds of insurance agents because I run a national business. But what I do to invest myself in those people is to learn about them and then share their name and give them recommendations if they request them, or even if they don't request them. I'm a reference for them. I share a platform that they can participate on. These are all things that we can do. Thank you very much, Dominic. I'm going to go over to Barbara, and then we're going to be entering into our second hour and inviting some of our new panelists. Barbara.
Well, I feel like the 40 years that I've been in business has been a preparation for this very moment in history. And I believe in together we are better. So I love this concept. It's not about getting a bigger piece of the pie. It's about making the pie bigger. And as we relaunch into whatever the world looks like, entrepreneurs have a phenomenal opportunity to do that. And the way I've relaunched is there's a lot of people now that have ignored the clutter in their life, the physical, the digital, the emotional clutter in their life. And now they're forced to stay in their home, and many of that is home offices. So now getting rid of that clutter is going to get them ready. So we created Quarantine Quick Start, which is something that people can do very, very quickly to make their home offices someplace where they can be more profitable, more productive, and more peaceful.
That's fantastic. We all need a little bit of peace. My expert in peace and meditation and well-being is Noah Ronen, who is a business coach and life coach. What are you sharing with your network that's new and exciting that you learned about yourself that's going to help everyone else too?
So I have just to say, I'm not an expert in mindfulness, but what I learned, yes. So my focus is conscious leadership, really. And the book I wrote is From Aware-less to Awareness. And right now we are in the middle, in the aware mess. And what I have found is that as a doer that had to taught herself to be the other side, the being side, as I call it, I find that I invite people to slow down. We have the tendency, kind of like, because there is a sense of survival, to pivot and pivot and pivot and pivot and pivot and not stop because we are home all the time. So I see a lot of people working, executives that work with no stop. So actually I started focusing on deep work because I caught myself in that pivoting all the time, and I had to stop and become conscious and move into what some people call the deep work, really paying attention to what it is that bring value. And at least to my circle of clients, it was hearing both sides of the leader and the team member and how they both experience the same situation, and to give those two perspectives in one article. And it was very helpful to a lot of people who just didn't know how to manage the situation. So it was very helpful. Another thing I want to say, yes, we don't know how things are going to look like, but I do invite people to take that time right now to also think, okay, so how things going to look in 2-3 weeks, and am I ready to pivot in that moment? So for example, for me is walking masterminds that started just from a want to bring people together outdoors, be creative, be inspired from nature, and connect and have conversations in nature, which become really amazing. I trademarked it during this time because I realized that there is a want for other people to take the idea. And I realized that this is an opportunity because most people will not want to go into a room. So in a few weeks, people will really like the idea to walk outside and meet outside or stay in the virtual room. So I invite you to think outside the box of what's going to happen soon and how you're going to address that, not when you are there already and now you need to pivot, but take a step back and take the opportunity right now when the world is kind of like making you slow down in a way to think differently. So yeah, that's where I come from.
I mean, you don't need a 100-year plan right now. You don't need a 5-year plan.
No.
You need to break things up into bite-sized pieces so that you can be moving forward in your business and in your life to whatever is going to be unfolding, because we don't know. But we do know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think it's leveraging what you have and using that in this, what's going to happen.
100%. Back to sharing secrets and people talking about, They're sharing what they know and with other people, and that may actually get you more clients. Rockstar Connect sort of started that way. A woman locally who was an expert in marketing said, what you do with your own events are fantastic. How have you monetized them? Are you able to teach other people how to do this? And I said, that was always the intent, but I needed help from someone like you. And she actually sat with Sarah and myself. And the first thing we did before we had Rockstar Connect is we created a 15-hour course on how to host a networking event, like the networking event that I've been hosting since 2011. And we shared every secret. I mean, it was insane. It was 15 hours of video with every aspect and every little thing that we did. And we gave that course, and we had people pay for that course all around the country. And the feedback was, wow, that is comprehensive. I can't believe every secret was in there. It was great price, but guess what? We can't do that. We can't do those things. It's too comprehensive. We want you to do it for us. And out of that, Rockstar Connect was born, where, you know, we would end up doing the heavy lifting so someone could consistently do their own networking event. So for those of you who are in the chat audience right now, really think about what you know and the secrets that you're keeping, and start thinking about sharing those secrets. Those people that you consider competitors may end up becoming your consumer of the product that you can provide for them, whether that be coaching or an actual program that they can utilize. You do have something of value that you can sell right now and convert into revenue, into money that you can use to grow your business and, you know, buy a boat like Mark Roberts and all sorts of things like that. So we're coming into the second hour. We have new people joining us, and I'm going to jump in with them real soon. I just want to, for anyone who's new participants that are coming in, the theme of 3 Martini Lunch is success is contagious. We share our successes with other people so they can have successes as well. Also, when we articulate our successes, we have a far better opinion of ourselves, which enables us to have strength, you know, to once again to be successful. And in the first hour, so many panelists did share those successes. Before I get to Mark and Tommy, who I want to give a special introduction to, I want to, and Greg McDaniel, I'd like to introduce Mark Roberts, who is a Rockstar Connect host here in the Raleigh area. He has an event downtown that's an evening event, and he also has a morning weekly event that's powered by Rockstar Connect, which is based on the Success is Contagious program. Mark, please tell us what you do and share your success for the week with us.
Absolutely. Thank you, Stephen, and welcome to everyone. Thanks for letting me join the panel. Represent 2 companies. The first is the Office Nerds, and hence my little Irwin, my office nerd behind me here. We are a virtual office management and bookkeeping company. We'll come in and run that back office so you don't have to. We'll do it much quicker, faster, and efficiently, and get you back to what you love. The other portion of that is in phase. It's key concepts, business coaching, and that's where I come in and talk about the business operations side as both a consultant and a coach. And that's quickly what we do. In terms of successes, our success, and you keyed on it today, is I heard a lot of the group talking about it before, is we got down to a new boat we got down in Wilmington, but more importantly, we've got to have part of the family there. So we had our daughter and a boyfriend, and we stayed on the boat for the weekend and got to have some fantastic family time. And it's amazing how many more friends and things I have now that we have a boat. So we'll see how that goes. And we'll put it right out here so I have witnesses. Stephen, you and Sarah are invited down there. We've got to get you there.
It's always good to have friends that own boats.
That's the best boat to have, a friend's boat.
Yeah, that's the best.
Less expensive.
Friends that have boats, planes, fancy cars. It's always nice to count them amongst your friends.
Absolutely.
100%. So, Mark, thank you very much for joining us for the second hour. We're going to have a little bit of fun in the second hour. We're going to just take care of a little bit of business.
Excellent.
Clint Webb. I learned something about Clint Webb that I did not know, because I get a little dossier on everybody that comes to the event. Clint has lost 100 pounds in the last 6 years. And chances are I met him 6 years ago, and I don't even remember meeting him, because he must have looked so different. Great success for you. Obviously a success that's still important to you because you're sharing it with us. Can you share a little bit about what you do and what has been your newest successes in the last week?
Well, thanks for that, Stephen. That was one of the hardest things I've ever done, besides being a parent to a girl, is definitely up there on that list as well. But I work for Coeco Office Systems, so we're a local technology company. We supply, printers, high functioning scanners, stuff like that. I managed IT services, and to be honest, I don't really know all that much about it yet, but I'm learning every day. It's been about, 5.5, 6 weeks, so I'm learning every day new stuff. But successes in the last week, I had a guy that owns a business here locally in Hillsborough call me yesterday and asked me to go meet him for a round of golf at 2 o'clock. So I did. And while we were waiting on the tee box, another gentleman walked up to us and he asked us to go ahead and play with him. And he ended up being an executive director of a nonprofit that I've been trying to get in touch with for a few weeks. So everything just seems to happen for a reason. You got to put yourself out there, or you're never going to be seen and or heard. And, you got to stay present. And I always try to stay present in front of somebody who knows somebody else.
That's fantastic. I pointed this out about Clint before. When he goes to networking event, he always brings a group of people with him, at least one other person, maybe 4 or 5 people. So he works a room strategically. He is their wingman at the event. He's making sure that they're meeting people that he already knows in order to help those people he already knows, including his new friends that he's bringing to the event. And that is demonstrative of what we were talking about before, of taking care of your gold friends. And in that regard, I want to take care of my gold friends right now. I have 2 people that have just joined us for the second hour that are very important to Rockstar Connect, and to my wife, Sarah, who is running all the production for this today, as well as the chat room, Tommy Episcopo and Mark Sher. They work for an organization, wave guys, Mark is in, they're both wearing vests, they're both wearing pins. Mark is probably wearing a vest because Tommy normally does, so he decided to dress it up and wear a vest today. But what they do is so good, because they help people crush debt and eliminate debt so they can be successful. And that's very important to people that are entrepreneurs. We don't have the opportunity always to go to the bank, and when we do, they make us jump through all sorts of hoops in order to finance our company, our dreams, and everything else. And what Tommy and Mark do is they enable you to become your own bank. So actually, I have a question, and Mark actually helped me with it, because I never know the right question to ask these guys. And he gave me a really good question to ask them. And I'm going to ask both of you this question. I'd like your answer on it. A lot of people are incurring debt right now. They're living on their credit cards. They're, buying more food on their credit cards. They're paying their bills, their employees. They're getting loans from the government. How is the incurring of debt impacting your business, Mr. Mark Sher? You have to unmute yourself, Mark. I can't do it.
There we go.
Thank you.
Well, I'm going to defer the first part of that question to Tommy. So go ahead, Tommy. You answer that question, and I'll hit the second part of it.
Okay, so how is it affecting my business?
Yeah, how is everyone because of the shutdown, the debt they're incurring, how is that impacting your business? And we'll let Mark say how you guys can help them.
Okay. Well, before this, people were in debt. after this, people are really in debt. So it's just a correlation of the two. I mean, you know, the more money they're borrowing or the more money they're putting on their credit cards, the more help they're going to need. And that's where we come in. We come in and help them and just show them a better way how to eliminate their debt. So business is very busy just because of what it is. I mean, we know that people are going to have these loans. We know that people are going to use their credit cards to get through things. We know this is going to happen. You know when you're going to realize you're really in trouble? At the end of the month when you have to pay all those bills.
Right.
And that's where we come in.
Well, it's not only what they're putting as far as debt. I mean, money that they put aside to service that debt.
For sure.
They're spending that money.
Sure. Our whole premise is to show you what is going away from you and to bring that all back to you. That's the whole premise of what we do. And with that, I'll defer it over to Mark.
Okay. So that was a great start, Tommy. And the most important thing for folks to realize is that we teach people financial literacy. We're not a credit repair company. We don't do debt consolidation. We don't do bankruptcy. That's not what we do. We don't do debt credit card restructuring. We truly show people a methodology for them to utilize money in a way they never thought possible. And for us, you know, as Tommy was saying, we're going crazy because people that we talked to 3, 4, 5 months ago that kind of, well, let me think about it, they're all calling us now because they're saying, wow, everything you said is right in front of my eyes now. And then there's people that are looking at this and saying, wow, as soon as I get back to work and have my paycheck coming in regularly, we need to implement this plan. So for us, it's good now, and we're just building a whole backlog of people that, you know, saying, come see me as soon as I have my paycheck coming back. So we're very excited. And the one thing that I'm going to jump in, and we're going to talk about, Stephen, real quick, what are the good things that have happened to us? Well, one of the great things that Tommy and I, you know, we're part of a team. And when you can help someone that's on your team do well, we helped someone that joined us about 60 days ago. He's going to get about a $30,000 check in the next 2 weeks because of how he helps somebody. Okay. So the one thing I want to say to anybody that's a financial planner in the financial world, in the insurance world, if you'd like to learn what we do so you can help your clients, we'd love to help you become successful as well as help your clients. And we're going to obviously have our information in the chat box, so feel free to reach out and talk to us. It's a free conversation. It doesn't cost you anything. Thank you, Stephen.
My pleasure. And guys, I want you to realize, Tommy and Mark, they're not paying any extra to be showcased here. I'm showing them because, first of all, I believe in what they're doing. And beyond that, how much they help Rockstar Connect. I mean, they did not hesitate when we switched over to virtual to continue their financial support of Rockstar Connect. They didn't say, hey, Stephen, how are you going to keep our businesses moving or anything? They didn't even think about that. They said, we want to be there for you so that, you know, in 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, whatever it is to have live events, that you're still there. And their events are some of the most successful events in the country. Tommy's event is in Jupiter, and Mark's event is in Coral Gables, although he lives in Brickell. And they have, you know, easily 50 to 100 people coming to their event, and they help so many people that come to their event. They don't sell anything at their event, ever. They just follow the Rockstar Connect, you know, belief that you need to connect other people and to assist them where they need to be assisted. They meet with people, they learn about them, they do all the follow-ups, they participate in their social media. So their event, their monthly event, grows every single month. And they also get a great enjoyment from it because their event is a social experience for them. And they look forward to it. They're always on top of, you know, some people, you know, we may have to, you know, reschedule an event with them. It's like pulling teeth. These guys, like, as soon as their event is done, they're on the phone. When is our next Rockstar Connect event? What can we do to make our event more special? And because of people like, you know, Mark and Tommy and John and Mark and Greg, our Rockstar Connect host, and also Dominic, who was on earlier, and Scott Rudder. Rockstar Connect is, surviving this, what could be a national catastrophe, but because we're all working together, not only Rockstar Connect hosts, but Rockstar Connect attendees, to stay connected with one another. We're not going into holes. We're not turtles pulling our heads in. We're putting ourselves out there to help other people without any expectations whatsoever. That's why we're going to be a great success. And Tommy and Mark epitomize this. They never hesitate to share their criticism. If they're unhappy with something, they aren't mean about it. They tell us what they need and what they feel the people that go to their groups need, and we really appreciate that. And when we do something right, they're the first people to congratulate us and introduce us to other Rockstar Connect hosts around the country. So I don't mean to embarrass you guys or anything, but I really want to thank you, and that's why I put a big spotlight on you. So if you were an attendee of the event today, or you're watching this on the live broadcast on Facebook, and you want to reach out to Tommy and Mark, you can either reach out directly to them and their information, or you can reach out to Rockstar Connect on our website and say you want to be personally connected to them. And I got to tell you, this is for all of our hosts. We want you to be successful too. If there's something that you are doing that's fantastic for your community, make sure we know that, so that we can blast that out to the hundreds of thousands of people that go to Rockstar Connect events. So thank you guys very much. I want to welcome a very special panelist, a Rockstar Connect host who's been hosting events for 3 years in California. He's going to be sharing two things that are important to us. First of all, Greg McDaniel has been doing video podcasts regularly, consistently, on a daily, weekly, monthly basis now for years. He has an enormous audience on social media of people that like him and know him and trust him. I mean, if someone calls Greg on the phone about Rockstar Connect, they automatically sign up because he is such a good friend of Rockstar Connect and other people. I mean, he is a great guy. He's also out in California. And the way California goes, the rest of the United States goes. California is like a country onto itself. Whether you love California, whether you hate California, California are the innovators. And right now, because California is shut down, we don't know what's going on there so much with real estate, with culture. And I was hoping Greg could come on today to share what's going on in California right now. And also afterwards, share some technology tips so that you can improve your social media presence. Sure. Hand it over to you, Greg. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Stephen, I appreciate you guys having me here again, a repeat guest here on the panel. My name is Greg McDaniel. I've been a real estate agent here in Northern California in the San Francisco Bay Area for the last 20 years. Joined my father, he started his career 48 years ago. And we've done thousands of deals. We work primarily in what we would call the luxury market. We just call it the market. But, you know, we have the opportunity to work with thousands of families and help folks. I 4 or 5 years ago started a podcast called Real Estate Uncensored. And we meant, my co-host and I meant it to be a training platform to kind of be uncensored and show people what really goes on in real estate. And it just turned into me just bouncing around, you know, acting all like a fool, but having a lot of fun, a lot of laughs, and dropping a lot of knowledge to a lot of real estate agents, where in the past they would have to pay to get this information. But since my father's been a broker in 3 states, and I've just been inundated my entire life with real estate knowledge, I was able to pass it forward. So that's what the whole point of the show is. And it's even more needed now with the way COVID is kind of manipulating our lives and our society. And California as a whole right now, it's a weird world, man. It's a weird world. I mean, I go for runs in the morning and people step away from me like I have the plague. And I'm like, I'm just going for a jog, dude. You know, and I go into supermarkets. We all have to wear like the masks. I'm sure you guys if you guys don't have to, thank baby Jesus, because it sucks on such an epic level. we're supposed to be starting to roll out of that pretty soon. And people thought that that was going to be an opportunity, blood in the water, where people could go and get really good real estate deals. And that's actually flipping it on the head. Our interest rates at our major banks, Wells, B of A, pick your poison. They're giving, like one of my clients just got like in the high 2 percentile directly from the bank. So really good loan, really good rates, but they're taken away from all the brokers. So you have to go directly to the bank. But the prices are still climbing. I mean, I had a client, she just purchased a property in San Francisco. We went in and, offered 1.9, multiple offers, and it appraised for $1,960,000. And the appraiser never even went in. Go figure, right? So the market here is still holding incredibly strong. So if you guys are in real estate or thinking about buying real estate, just can consult with someone who knows your local marketplace, because every micro marketplace is going to be definitely a little bit different. And then with that being said, you've got to also be aware of what's going on socially around you, because we also, we have to sign what they call the COVID doc or the PETA doc to go into a property, and we can't show properties that are owned or being lived in right now. And you have to sign it every single time you go into the property. Not just one time covers you all. You got to sign it every single time. Where timelines are being extended out for, for COVID, interrupting with the time frames of our contractual obligations and time and limits. So it's a free flowing event that we're consistently living in here. And I'm sure you guys are all experiencing some version of that as well. And we're all getting a little bit stir crazy, and we all love our cameras and our microphones, but I love human beings more. And I'm pretty sure we're all going to be excited to get back out and give a big old high five and a hug and eat a chicken wing and drink a beer at a bar and hang out with your buddies, or whatever your version of that is. But we're just kind of knuckling down right now and just kind of seeing where it's going to go. And there's just some really fun apps and technology that, for most part, are all free or low cost, no cost, that I've been messing around and playing around with. So Stephen, you just kind of let me know what direction you want to go in, and we'll just take it off and we'll go from there.
Yeah, well, I would love if you could share a few apps with us that everyone here needs to know about, both in the audience and our panelists. What should we be trying right now that's going to add value to what we offer our clients, customers, and friends?
Okay, so here's one that you can put onto your phone. It's called Marco Polo. I'm sure a lot of you guys have already seen this thing. What I really like about Marco Polo is that it does this. And let me grab it up real quick instead of just explaining it to you guys. Where are you? So it's Marco Polo. You can get all your buddies on there that have, you do videos back and forth with. The cool thing about this is that you can go in. This is my buddy Paul in North Carolina. See, we just do videos back and forth, and you can see who is where in the communication. But the really fun thing with this, it will remind you to contact 3 people a day. So if you want to jump into your database and you want to stay face to face with someone without ever having to leave your house, Marco Polo is a free app. Upload your contacts into it. And I've had an absolute blast talking with people on this thing, because I've talked to people. I used to be a bouncer at a bar in another lifetime. And one of the guys that first popped up on this was one of my co-bouncers. And I haven't seen him in 17 years. Hit him up, like, hey bro, what's up? How are you? How's life? Blah, blah, blah. He's like, he said he was excited to see me in a 4-letter word. But I don't know what my grading here is for language, so you use your imagination. But he's like, hey man, I stepped out of the house. How are you? Let's catch up. And then PETA hit, and now we drink a beer every once in a while on Marco Polo, talking back and forth on a video walkie-talkie. It's a very fun, clean, free app. Another one that I like a lot, I'll do into another app, and then I'm going to talk about some technology that I'm utilizing right now, and I'll let you know how I'm doing it. There's another one called MixCam, 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 and this thing is friggin' awesome. So I've just pulled it up here. That's my front and my back camera going at the exact same time, so that you can walk around and do, you can talk about, show a property, show a product, you can show a neighborhood, and it won't be exclusively on you or exclusively on whatever you're going to be talking about. You can do photos with it. That looks pretty much the same. You can do group photos. I haven't really played with that one yet, but you can also change what your view looks like. And so it's again, it's all free. And it just seems like something that, since we're going to be doing a lot of video, might be something to download and really kind of mess around with. For YouTube, there is, I'm working on putting together thumbnails, and I found this thing called, where'd you go?
You've become a big fan of YouTube recently, right, Greg?
Well, I've always been a big fan and big consumer of it, but then my eyes were opened up, and I found that there is a tremendous, cool, Mark, that's awesome, dude. And I found that the power of YouTube is just overwhelmingly large. And I'm not going to pretend like I know how to do it all. For any of you guys running any type of business, a good friend of mine, his name is Jackson Wilkie. And Stephen, we'd love to get him on. Maybe he'll be a panelist. He'll blow your minds on what he's doing. But if you go to YouTube and you type in YouTube agent, okay. Now, again, you can use this for any industry, but what he talks about is keywords, SEO, and, how to be searchable. And what I found is that there's a program out there called Keywords Everywhere. And Keywords Everywhere, it costs you $10. It will give you 100,000 searches, which will last you a year, give or take. And it will show you how many times certain words are searched, right? So I said, okay, let's take a look at this. So I brought up my yellow pad and I started chicken scratching all over it. I started just taking a look at different things. So I live in a city called Walnut Creek. And so I just typed in Walnut Creek after I got Keywords Everywhere. Those two words are searched 49,500 times a month. Another town I work in is Danville, 12,100. Concord, 33,100. San Francisco, 823,000 times. San Francisco weather, 1 million times a month. So this is where you can start creating, playlists, or start creating ideas for videos that people are actually looking for, and then having them search you and start following you and get into your ecosystem. And for that being said, you need good thumbnails. So this is a photo that I took the other day, and I went and got this app and I downloaded it, and it erases, the cool thing is it erases your background, right? It just gives a digital background. So then you can take it and overlay that onto anything else you want to do for thumbnails. There's thumbnail makers and everything else you can get on in the App Store as well. But those are some of my quick and dirty tips on that. But for going live into Facebook, and hopefully you guys are doing live video, because live video is just, I think it's like 15 times more, is viewed 15 times more or something like that. I think my number is somewhere in there. But to be more visible on Facebook, you have to use a couple of different tools. Now, if you're going to do interviews and stuff like that, you can use multiple different third-party sources. You can use Zoom to go live into Facebook. You can use something called Blue Jeans to go live into Facebook. The one that I recently started working with and I love, because you can put lower thirds on, you can bring in music, you can bring in graphics, you can bring people off camera, bring people on camera. It's very functional. It's called StreamYard. And if you guys do want to go to Facebook, DM me, send me hey Greg, I want your code. I can knock off $10 for you. I paid $230 for the year. And the cool thing about StreamYard, this is the one that really kind of distinguishes it from everything else, besides all the the logos, the lower thirds, the questions, answering all the comments, and bringing in all your your guest logos and stuff like that, is that I picked the version just to try it out, where you can go live into 2 social media platforms simultaneously with one click. And so I picked Facebook and YouTube. Now I created 4, so I can select and switch these around. I can go from Facebook to YouTube, or I'm like, oh, I don't really want to do that. I want to go into LinkedIn and Facebook, or I can go to LinkedIn and my Periscope, or you can mix and match a lot of these. If you pay $49 a month, for any of you guys who want a little bit bigger of a footprint, you can go into 5 social media streaming platforms with one click of a button. Now, if you decide to do something like that, again, I got another discount code for you guys for this next product. It's called Live Leap. Again, I can save you guys a grip of cash on this one. I know the owner personally. Live Leap is something that is awesome. It is where you can, once you connect it all in the back, Kutana, who works for Andrew over there, she'll help you set it up. But the thing is once you go live using these different services, or just going live directly into Facebook, if you're an admin on any groups or pages or profiles, and you link it up to Live Leap, again, one click of a button, go live, boom, you're out to all of those different groups simultaneously without you having to do any other work at all. And so I've been collecting people in groups and organizations for quite a while, some very big, some very small, but they've all given me admin access and they give it to me about that quickly. And I'm just honor their request of not touching any of the comments or don't try to bring people in or make any edits. I don't care about that. I just want to go live in their group. And people get to see me in multiple locations. And all I did, guys, was click one button. So you go from StreamYard to LiveLeap out to social media, pretty much all seamless. And so those are some of the tips.
Hey, that's fantastic. That's money. I mean, Greg is giving you money right now, the ability to have more people see you. I'm gonna hand this over to our video production team, to Alan, and Alan, Greg.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna cut out this video and we'll distribute this to all the groups individually, everything that you've shared on technology today. The reason why Greg is so good at this is because he truly enjoys it. It's like fun for him. This is, what he does, on his off time, he enjoys it. And frequently when you find something that you like, that's how you're able to make money from it. I love networking. I love helping people. I love schmoozing. Therefore, Rockstar Connect, our hosts love doing that as well. But everyone here has something. One of our panelists has something that they do that they're able to offer to their audience, that first of all, you are humans, so it doesn't have to humanize you, but they're able to connect with you on a different level. For example, talking about debt can be scary, but in the case of Tommy Episcopo, you can talk to him about cars too. He's a car aficionado. So Tommy, can you share the thing that you love and how that also helps you grow your business, so that other people in the audience, they can, do a deep dive into what they like and they can apply it to their business. And then we'll go to all the panelists on that. We'll start with you, Tommy.
I kind of find to try and not make it like you're trying to sell somebody anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's more of a conversation about them and what is their financial wish list. How can I help you?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do to make your life better? It's more like that than it is. Everybody wants to get in and make that big sale, but that doesn't last very long. You have to get in there and you have to really make people, believe you're trying to help them, not trying to sell them.
How do you use your love of cars in order to achieve that? I know you do.
Well, it's pretty funny that most of my clients are car guys, but I'm with a lot of these guys all the time, and we talk about it. And if you help one, you'll help another, and you help another, you help another. But that doesn't last if you do the wrong thing to one of them. You have to do the right thing the first time, every time.
And to every person, and treat them all.
Every person you see.
If you're a member of the audience right now, or you're in the HIO room, hey, drop in the chat what your hobby is and how you use your hobby to increase your business connections and revenue in your business. Let's go over to Mark. Same question to you. What do you love and how do you use it in either your social media or in events to connect and help other people?
Mark loves food.
I was talking about Mark Roberts, but I'll get over to Sher in a moment.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
Well, we're all about helping people and helping businesses. So as we find great information, we just love sharing that. It's all about providing value. And fortunately, we do love that. In fact, one of the funny things is we love it so much that whenever Tiffany, who does most of the bookkeeping on her side, whenever she prices something, I do the pricing because she wants to give it away because we just want to help somebody. We do the same thing with the business coaching. So we're all driven about providing value.
Well, I'm thinking more along the lines of your hobbies. So I'm looking at and I'm going to help you. You may not even see this. I'm gonna open your eyes a little bit. Maybe all can see it. But I look at your social media very closely, and you may be doing these things on an unconscious level, but it's actually helping you to get business. So what Mark's company does is he helps, busy business people offshore a considerable amount of their work so they can do the things they enjoy. And the way I think you're able to demonstrate it is, Mark just got a boat. He's going to be working from his boat now. We set it up with the internet so that he can do what he loves while helping his clients. Well, he's demonstrating a lifestyle that a lot of his clients want to emulate, and they know the only way they can do that is by hiring someone like him. Did you ever look at it that way, Mark, or am I just putting that right in front of you now?
A little bit, we looked at it, but yes, that's exactly what we're getting. Because one of our dream board goals was to work remotely for a month or so in some locale. And then what happened is the boat kind of came to us, so we've pivoted it a little bit, and now we're going to do it with that. Once we get efficient enough, we would love to sail that to someplace and work from there.
So I have a new course for you. Why don't you teach your clients how they can, with the time that you're saving them, that they can do things that they want to do as well. So instead of just putting it into the point of, oh, we're going to help you make more money, say, we're going to save you 4 hours so you can go hiking this week. That's what I'd like you to do going forward. Mark Sher is also,
you'll see it.
Mark Sher is also a boater, and now I know he also likes food. I have broke bread with him. I didn't realize that food was such a big thing. Mark Sher, your passion, how does it translate into helping other people and humanizing you and getting business?
Well, one of the things I think that it helps me with is that a lot of people in the financial world, and Tommy knows this, and we talk about it all the time, are very high pressure. It's all about, give me your money, blah, 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 blah. The biggest difference with us is, as Tommy will tell you, we don't tell people what we're going to make for them. That's not important. It's what are we going to save them. But the boating thing for me is I try to, I live in Miami, and I keep the boat down in Key Largo. So it's an hour and 10 minutes, door to Marina. And during the week, lots of times, that's where you'll find me. And people call me on the phone. Oh, I can't hear you. It's kind of windy. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm on the boat, but I'll just, slow down, stop, or, go inside so I can talk to people. And so it keeps you a little bit calmer. The water I find very calming. I'm sure Mark Roberts will agree with me on that.
Well, no, that proves you're a much better sailor than I am. We haven't reached the calm stage yet, but I appreciate that.
We're not talking sailing.
Yeah.
We're talking power. But anyway. Big difference.
Have the two of you connected yet outside of the panel?
Not yet. Been so busy. I mean, I have Mark's information. He's on my list. Tommy and I are just so busy, we barely have time to breathe.
But make some time. Mark is a really good guy. I think he can help a lot of clients and vice versa. John Doorn. So, I had a big conversation with John this week. I consume a lot of his social media. Guys, you're saying, Stephen, you must be on social media all the time. I am, because it's a very efficient way for me to manage a very large sphere of influence and network all in one place, and for me to stay connected with other people in a very efficient manner, and also just know what's going on in other people's lives, what great events they have, etc. If anybody feels like they'd like to have a deeper conversation on that, I'd be happy to host a short webinar on how to utilize social media in this very holistic way. But back to John. So John has how many pugs?
I have a Boston Terrier, and then we have a French Bulldog.
I confused those.
Yeah, that's okay. The French, he's running around here.
Hey. He heard you mention their name. Also, he recently, and this is pretty cool, Tommy, you'll like this, got a restored a VW camper. What year?
Yeah, I have a 1978 Westphalia VW. Her name is Ashbury. And even when, Greg was talking, you could see his energy. When, you start talking about your boat, you can see your energy and find what you love. And I love my dogs. I think there's a requirement to live in my neighborhood that you have to have a dog. Like we have a dog neighborhood, and I love my van, not gonna lie, but a lot of energy. And if you're ever in a bad mood, you go for a ride in that, everybody's waving to you, and loving you. But to be completely honest with you, I've used it to brand. My coach a few years ago said, what can someone else remember? What is something that someone remembers you for outside of real estate? And honestly, probably at least once a day, 3-4 times a week, someone sends me something to do with my VW van or my van, and I've branded the crap out of it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and it works because people remember and they look for it and they engage with your posts. You never talk about real estate, but you're always getting real estate clients and people that you can refer to your vendors, because you got to reward your vendors that send you business, and you do a fantastic job with it.
Thank you. And I loved what you said too, Stephen, that social media, I hate to say it's a job, but right? I mean, don't be ashamed. It's a job, right? Don't be ashamed that you're interacting very frequently. I always say it's our Heavenly Father's gift to all salespeople to connect with your sphere. It's so cheap and so easy.
Yeah, and also, you know about people's life events, when their children are graduating school and starting college, and maybe they're going to be getting some student loans, or unfortunately someone may be getting a divorce, or they had a death in their family, or they have, a life event that they want to celebrate.
I don't know. I'm surprised. Do we have a send out card person in your? Because I use send out cards, and I think Greg does too. But I don't know if there's a vendor or whatever. But if someone has a life event on that I see on Facebook, I'll steal that picture and I'll send it to them. Graduation's coming up, man. I take graduation pictures, family pictures. I put it on the card. I send it to them. Congratulations.
What a great idea.
Yes. So I love send out cards for that reason.
I know they have this deal now that if you make individual cards, you can do an unlimited amount of cards in a month, as long as they're individually created, which is what you want. You don't want to do a mass mailing. It's only like $97 a month, something ridiculously inexpensive.
I honestly, I save a lot of cards that people have sent me that were personalized, that people took pictures off of the internet and sent me those pictures. So I don't even know the cost, but I don't send every card. There's nothing like a handwritten note too, but for those life events, anniversaries, it's beautiful.
And if you have a VA, they can help manage, a send out card campaign as well.
For sure.
It's a good thing for them to do in the downtime, and you can reward them for, whatever amount of cards that they send out.
Mm-hmm.
This is a great topic. I want to continue with this. I'm going to go to Katia, and then I'm going to go to you, Noah. As from a coach's perspective, sharing your passions with other people that doesn't have to do with your business, how does that impact your business? What do you share with your audience that helps them connect to you?
So that's actually a very interesting question, because about 1.5 years ago, I started to really share more of my life, because I realized then people wanted to know who I was. And I had a hard time, because I was like, well, the personal versus the professional, I think sometimes it's a thin line. And now it's really all together, because I realized then the more they get to see me, they understand how I work. So I ride motorcycles, right? I had a big Suzuki Marauder, a 1340cc, and people are like, whoa, you're tiny, how can you ride that thing? And it says a lot about my personality already. And it's been very interesting who I have attracted. I also do fencing. I share them, I fence, and people see a lot of that. They're like, okay, she's a fighter, but like a good fighter. And I really say how hard all of these things are, which translate a lot into when you work with me, it's hard work. So I think it's been interesting just to show like your personality, because they get to know you at the core and not just with work. However, they really see me as a real person. They know that I love being outdoor. I mean, I'm outside all the time. I take pictures outside. They know that I love cooking. So there is a lot of family value. There is a lot of meals being done at the table. You're rarely going to see me post then I am binge watching Netflix. I don't even have a TV in my home. So all of these things really help people to see who you are, and they can really connect with you on a really, really deep level. It has totally changed some of the people also I attract, which is very good. And they see me walk the walk. I travel a lot. Obviously, I'm a keynote speaker, so I'm all over the world, and I always take 3 or 4 days before or after, and I try to take one of my kids, and people are like, well, I want what she has. And they know then, because this is what I teach as a business coach, how do we use public speaking? They're like, well, she's not only just saying it, she's living it. I want her life. So it makes it, I think, easier for people to relate.
That's fantastic. Do you and Noah know each other off of the panel?
No, but we were just like chatting. I was like, oh, I actually know, but not at all.
I think you guys would be very good friends. You remind me, besides the accents, you remind me of each other, because you do share what you enjoy outside of your work with your audience, and you aren't overly trying to educate them. You're just sharing the things that are successful in your life, that they recognize that if they hire you as coaches, they would have the opportunity to duplicate some of those successes. Sarah and I, Sarah loves, when Sarah and I first got married, she wanted to start taking care of plants and growing plants. And she said that she has a brown thumb. She was very nervous that she would be successful, because it can end up being a pretty expensive hobby if you kill all your plants. So she now has indoor plants, probably hundreds of indoor plants that she takes care of. She grows orchids and she brings them back to life every year. They're blooming. Occasionally a plant will die, but that's always something to learn, to prevent it for the next time. And now she's getting ready to grow an enormous amount of vegetables for our victory garden over, coronavirus. Which everyone should have a victory garden and start planting their own food. I share a lot about my friends. I share local businesses. I share local events, and I also share a lot about my cooking, because that's my contribution to the family. And I want people to recognize that it's not all about work. It's also about your responsibility to your family. And the people in this room, are great family people. Tommy, is impeccable. John, all of you are great parents, friends, and family members. I'm going to jump in with you, Noah, because Noah is particularly good about sharing the things that she does with her family, with her audience. But in a way, it's not a bragging. It's not a brag. It's, hey, it's hard to make this time to do these things, but the reward is very high for doing them.
Yeah,
could you get a little bit more into that, Noah?
Yeah, I feel like with maybe me getting older is about the little things that bring me joy. So it can be, I'm a coffee lover. So there is a lot about coffee that I post, or even videos that I do in coffee shops. And I always like to support local businesses. So I always invite to support the local business coffee shops. And actually, what was interesting is that I started vlogging, doing videos on LinkedIn after running. And I was sweaty, I was red, I didn't look like here. And I just did that to get better in front of camera. I wanted to feel comfortable. So there was no intention to sell anything, just get comfortable. And what was interesting is that people would come to me in face-to-face events and will say, hey, I really like your videos. You have to keep doing them. And they were very short, because my attention span is short. So there mostly will be between 1 to 3 minutes. But it was just interesting to see that my new joy of running outside in nature and sharing my thoughts after I run, because that's the way I am wired, brought connection with people. And I am trying to share the idea of kind of like what Katia said, of walking your talk and just showing up as you are. If it's after a run, no fancy clothes, or if it's after I talk and I travel somewhere, or just making a food because we have some health issues in our family, so we have to eat everything clean. So for me, a joy is that I can make Asian chicken without all the ingredients that are not clean. So that's joy for me, real joy. So I'm trying to keep it real with the conversations I'm sharing with my audience, and no matter where. So from joy of cup of coffee, for example, running on Friday when my coffee shop was opening, open for the first time after the lockdown, I was so excited and shared my happiness with the world to just a thought that came into mind after I ran. So, I believe more and more that people want to see you as you are. Not with all the fences around you. And that's really what I'm trying to invite people into the conversation.
Excellent. Thank you, panelists. That was terrific. I think that was very helpful to all the people that are watching on Facebook Live. And especially I want to thank you, Greg, because you're so passionate about what you do and sharing about all those technologies. We're getting to the end of the program. We are going to keep the virtual lounge open so our panelists can go and connect with you one-on-one. I love the cattail growing across the screen, Greg. I thought it was a dinosaur at first, like a brontosaurus neck.
Yeah, he has a mind of his own. There's no controlling him. They're just mitigating with the fallout. That's all.
No, you can't do anything about it. So what we're doing, I saw John's cat. You have a cat too, or is that a dog tail? It was a cat tail.
I've got a cat and 2 dogs, 2 lizards. We have a zoo.
Okay, so they were walking back and forth. So this overall, this is a networking event. This is the 3 Martini lunch. I hope people have been connecting in the lounge and on all the ways that we're distributing, and we really appreciate all that you've shared. But I want to connect people that are panelists as well. So what panelists want to connect with John Doorn? Raise your hand if you want to connect with John Doorn. Excellent. And who wants to connect with Katia? Excellent. And Noah Ronen. And Mark Roberts. Tommy Episcopo. Mark Sher. And Greg McDaniels. Excellent. If you want to connect with any of these people, please put it in the chat so we can facilitate that, or you can go to the Rockstar Connect website and you can request to connect with any of our panelists that we've had on the program today. We're keeping the Hio Lounge open so you can do those one-on-one chats. Also, I just want to talk about the 3 Martini lunch. We do this every week, 2 p.m. To 4 p.m. It is a national event. People are participating from everywhere. You can show your support by going it is a free event. It's free to attend. You can show your support by making a contribution, though, on the rockstarconnect.com website. We appreciate all those contributions. It offsets the cost of doing what is a massive endeavor every single week, getting great panelists for you and having them share your knowledge. Right now, we are getting ready to start our live events around the country. If you want to start your events, especially in major markets like Las Vegas, we have some space there. We have many spaces available in California, very few in Florida because your family bank has so many of the events there. They have, between them like 7, 8, 9 events. I'm not 100% sure. Please reach out to Rockstar Connect. We're also looking for panelists as well. You can find out more information if you go to our websites. So us panelists, everyone raise your hand and say goodbye. Thank you so much for attending. I'm going to end the meeting, but stay tuned for the Hio Lounge.